Hi ladies, like I promised, I'm just going to do a very quick update on how my appointment went today. And unfortunately, the last update that I gave you guys, I told you that I had had no spotting. Last week it would have put me at like 3 weeks. And I didn't have any spotting for like a full like 3.5 weeks. And then this weekend on Saturday morning, I got out of bed and I woke up and I had some bright red spotting. It lasted like about a half hour, and then it did, turn to that brown color and it went away. And because it went away, I didn't call or do anything. And my Doppler was showing that the baby's heart rate, everything was still good. So figured I would just update them with that, more spotting at this appointment. And I got there and they took me back for my blood pressure, my weight, all of that good stuff. And they asked me like my symptoms or like about my bleeding and whatnot. And I did tell them that I went a pretty good like time span with nothing. And then on Saturday morning I did have that bright red spotting. And so she said, okay, go back and sit back out in the waiting room. And they did do an ultrasound, which I wasn't expecting them to do one because normally they tell me the last time and they have to schedule it ahead of time. And she said, we're actually going to do an ultrasound first to check on your placenta since you had more spotting. And then we'll go ahead with your appointment. So I actually did get to see the baby again. And she didn't tell me like the measurement in like gestational age. But she did measure the baby, and the baby is already measuring 3 inches long. And the heart rate, it was in the 180s. She kind of just did it so quick just to like look at the placenta that it wasn't a really like thorough and scan, and she didn't really let us see a lot of the baby. And so but I glanced over at the screen and I saw that it said like 180 something, and I think it said 184, but I'm not certain, but I know it said 180 something. And that's what it's been like 170s to 180s on my Doppler at home too. So it was moving around like crazy, just like the last ultrasound that we had. And it's like the legs and the arms, is the big difference in this ultrasound. They're so much longer now, and it looks like a little baby. And I asked her, because I'm 12 weeks 5 days today, and I said, just out of curiosity, is there any way like you could take a guess on the gender? And she said she said no, it's way too early for that. So I was kind of bummed about that. So but we go this next Sunday on the 15th for the gender. So we find out then. And but on to my Placenta Previa. She did explain everything on the ultrasound as we were going. If you take like my cervix, my placenta is still completely covering it, unfortunately. And with Grayson at this point, I think it was a marginal, placenta previa, so like part of it was over it, so it was almost completely moved with Grayson, but it was still somewhat covering it. With this one, it's completely covered, and it still has, is what she called it, is like a little lip on the placenta, and it still has a little ways to even move for it to be marginal, so it's still completely covered. Let me walk over here real fast. It's gonna be dark. I don't have any lights on in the house, and my house is a mess. And I'll show you a quick. I got a couple ultrasound pictures. She didn't do a very good job at getting me good pictures, which I'm kind of bummed about because the baby is just so much bigger. But I'll show you the bottom one. Right there, you can see the head, and then I don't like it because she like didn't get the legs and the arms in this one, so like you can see the roundness of the bum, the butt, and then the head, and that's a little profile of the baby. And then this one, if you look closely, you can see like on the top That little dot on the head is the ear, and it's kind of like a front shot of the face. And then this one. She didn't get really clear shots, but I got to see it on there, and it was so cute. And my husband was there, so I'm glad that he was there because I wasn't expecting them to do an ultrasound, and they decided to go ahead and do it just to be on the safe side. So since I still have the complete placenta previa with, you know, occasional spotting, I did see the doctor. I was scheduled with the midwife, but since I had the bleeding, I think they just, you know, slipped me in with the doctor instead. And he wants to keep me off work and continue my modified bed rest for now. And it's nice having such a good, my work supports me so much because they know of my history, and they're very supportive of, you know, my bed rest, and so that makes it so much better. Like, I don't have as much guilt being off work because I know my position will always be there when I go back, and they're just so sweet, all of them are. And he did my fundal height, and my top of my uterus is about a few inches above my belly button, or listen to me, good Lord, a few inches above my pubic bone. So like it's about halfway, like in between my belly button and my pubic bone, which that's where I've been finding the heartbeat more. And so he said that I'm actually measuring a tiny bit higher than he would have thought, but he said normally with your if it's not your first pregnancy, like your multiple pregnancies, you start to get bigger quicker. And he said that's probably why you're showing, you know, sooner. So and he also mentioned that, of course, like with your multiple pregnancies, you will be able to feel the baby sooner too, is what he told me today. So, which I knew that as well. But so baby looks good. Continuing with the bed rest. You saw the cute pictures. I wish they were a bit better, but I will have much cuter pictures this coming weekend when we do the gender. I'm so excited. So my 13-week update will be on Wednesday, so I will see you guys in a couple days. Bye.